All right, so I'm lucky enough to be here with Greg Judy, as I said earlier, and I'm showing him where I'd like to put my animals potentially next September. So we looked at a water source down there. We got a pond down there that we're gonna go to. And I mean, it's beautiful up here, and I don't know, what are your thoughts, Greg? In an ideal world, how would you set her up?
Well, if you've got this long rectangular field and you've got pond on that end,
Yep.
you've got pond on this end, so I'm gonna split the field in half.
Yep.
So that my cattle don't have to walk the full length to get water.
So it's September and I drop them off. What do I do?
Well, you got to have a perimeter fence here to keep them in here.
Yep.
So I'd get my perimeter fence in first.
Mm-hmm.
And then from my water point down there, you're gonna have, let's say, 6 to 10 steers or whatever that number is.
Whatever it is.
I'm gonna start at the pond, and you could, there's two different ways you could do it. And I would do both. One year I'd do one direction and one the other. So what I would do is I would split this field in two. With a I'm talking a polywire.
Into like this?
No, like this.
Like this.
So
okay.
I'm gonna have a wire going across, splitting the field perfectly in two.
Yeah.
Rectangle.
Yeah.
But then I'm gonna further divide it into quadrant.
Yeah.
Quarter it.
Yeah.
So my first quarter, I can come off that pond down there, and I can strip graze up to here. Well, then I'm gonna go back and grab my reel, and I'm gonna move it to the other side of my water point, and then I'm gonna strip graze this back to here.
Yep.
And then when I'm done, you can make a lane. That's the beautiful thing about poly. Just make your lane and bring them down the other side of your field and start at that pond and do exactly the same thing. Split it into quadrants, graze it up. See, this is going to start regrowing.
Yeah.
So you started here, and the time you get through all the other 3 quadrants, heck, this may be ready to graze again.
Yeah.
Plus you've got your cousins across the hill over here.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of ground over there you might be able to go in on too.
So would you do any back fencing?
The only time you need back fences if you stay on this strip longer than 4 days.
Okay.
So let's just say it only took you 4 days to graze this, you would need a back fence. If you're gonna stay longer than that, you're gonna probably need to keep them off of that first paddock that you graze from your water.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're gonna start chewing on it.
So it's September. I got four. Let's say I got perfectly 4 or 5 acre quadrants, and I'm in this quadrant. How big a pasture? How big of a temporary paddock would you make for these animals within each quadrant? 1/4 acre.
It depends how many you have, Jonah.
Let's say I got my 6. We'll just go with my 6.
So on 6 animals, and let's say they weigh, just keep the math simple. Let's say they weigh 500
Let's say,
pounds.
yeah.
500 pounds. So it would take 2 of them to equal an animal unit, which is 1,000. So that's 30 pounds. 30. You got 6 of them, so you'd have 3 animal units. That would be 30, 60. That'd be 90 pounds of forage a day. So probably a 1/16 of an acre.
1/16 of an acre.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's if I move them every day. But what if I only have time to move them every 5 days?
Well, then you want to give them a lot bigger.
Give them a lot bigger.
Yeah,
like a 1/4.
Yeah, well, not even half an acre.
Half an acre. If I'm busy or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I still want to move them as much as I can, but you got to, like you say, move as much as you can, but be realistic with your labor, right?
Right. Now, here's the other scenario I talked about earlier. There's 2 scenarios here. One is the one I just described. The other would be just take a wire and start strip grazing strips all the way across here, giving them access back to that pond for water. And if you hung your reel on this side, you could grab that reel and pull it back to that water tank.
Now, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but one thing I forgot to mention, just while we're on it, there's a stream that runs right along here. It never gets dry. There's actually another water source. A stream runs right where the field ends. That little gully, there's a stream that runs into that pond. Okay. So I thought I should tell you that before we... Okay. Because that changes the game a little bit too.
Wherever your water point is, whether it's the stream or the pond, if you had your reel hanging over here, you could actually just reel it back, let them in, and then put the reel back to the water point. And that way you are back fencing as you come this way. So for them to drink, they're going to have to come across here,
Yeah.
hit the lane, and go down and drink, and then come back.
Yeah.
They're not going to spend any time down at that water tank. You know
No.
why? There's nothing to eat.
Nothing to eat.
It's up
They're
here.
just gonna get their water.
Yeah. So that keeps your manure, it keeps your urine,
Mm-hmm.
you get more trampling, and with a back fence, it's regrowing on day one.
Yeah.
They can't go back and chew on it.
So you almost make like a little corridor.
Yep.
And then you bring them up.
Yep. That corridor gets longer as you come up the field.
Mm-hmm.
Are those pigeons?
Yeah.
Jimmy.
Yeah. There's lots of wildlife around here.
Frigates.
Yeah.
Too crazy.
See, that's the way we build all of ours.
Yeah.
Is ground spillways.
Ground spillways.
The shallow end's this end. The deep end's down there, of course, right? So if he was doing something for his cattle, I guess he would do it.
You can put a rock skirt. Right
So yeah, well I was just gonna ask, what do you think about rock skirting this?
I would. It's too nice a pond to let them in it.
Well, you definitely wouldn't let them in it, but you wouldn't have to pump it out.
No.
And-
Put a rock skirt and then fence it with high tensile, one single strand of wire, and right where they drink at, run a piece out in front of them.
Because that's where the brook comes in too. That's a brook there.
Yep.
That never goes dry. Right, Dad?
Yeah, but you don't want them in the brook.
No, not in it, but I'm just saying.
You have to mow that before you put your wire. When the grass touches the wire,
If you get a good charger, a big one that's powerful, no, we don't mow it.
doesn't bother.
But you don't want to get a wimpy ass charger. You want to get a pretty good size one.
Because we have power here.
Oh, you do right there.
There's a quick pull. He can put a meter in.
Hell, you got a plug-in charger.
Yeah.
You won't have any trouble at all.
Yeah.
You never have to mow it.
So this is where, you know, I got my place. I got my 3 acres or whatever. But this is really where I want to make my base.
Yeah.
This 20 acres is where I really, because I could even put a lean-to up there eventually for freak weather things, just so I have a little shelter. You want to talk about building a lean-to? I built one right up by those apple trees up there, and then put my rock skirt down here. And then have them.
You got a little bit of brush up there too for in the wintertime.
Yeah.
For a windbreak. What direction am I looking at here?
North or something.
This is south. So this whole, that's why it grows so good here.
Perfect.
Yeah,
So
this
you
is
got a north windbreak for your cattle in the wintertime, and you can feed hay. If you get really bad, I'd already have my hay up there
yeah,
so that you didn't have to haul it in here.
yeah,
And then when you don't have deep snow, get out there and start grazing again.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I
So
could,
he could have his animals year round down there.
Yeah. You know what I'd do? I'd get my damn hay, and I'd set it on oak post or hell, you got cedar. That's even better. They don't rot as quick.
Mhm.
Put you some cedar posts and line your hay on that new field out there
Mhm.
along the edge of it.
Mhm.
And in the wintertime, go out there, start on this end, and just start rolling them bales down through there. All
Like
you do is
this way?
Yes. You're putting down carbon.
roll it like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's the best thing you can do to them fields. Your
Yeah.
water's back here.
Yeah.
And in the wintertime, I'm sure your ground's gonna be more solid. You're gonna get a little cold.
But this field has really good drainage too. It
Yeah.
doesn't get as swampy as the other
Right.
ones. That's why
You
Dad
don't
kept
need
it.
the hay here.
No.
You don't need it rolled on this. You've already got a good damn sod. But out there,
Yeah.
it sure wouldn't hurt it any.
Yeah.
That's where I'd be feeding it. Get it put in there before winter, and get your bales the right direction. So when you go up there, get you a little foiler. Get that old guy that knows how to weld up there and
Yeah.
make you a bale unroller.
Yeah.
And start unrolling them damn things.
Yeah.
Just roll them that way.
Yeah, roll them down. Use the hill. Use
But
gravity.
would you keep them in the same area all winter, or do you also
you
move
could
them?
start on this end and just work your way all the way across
And
that
you just
whole
roll it,
Yeah.
roll them, and head them on all the way.
And you're gonna be using poly.
shoot.
Use poly so they're not all over the damn place. They're
Mhm.
only there where you unroll the hay.
Yeah.
So you unroll it, you're getting good animal impact on it, and they're gonna be wet. They're gonna be trampling about 20% of that on the ground.
Yeah.
There's your carbon source.
Yeah.
We get a lot more rain, I think, than you guys.
Up there on that hill.
Should we have these bales that sheet them just one sheet of plastic on?
I personally, we use all net wrapping.
Because then it can breathe.
It's good, but here's the key: get them off the ground.
Get 'em off the
You see
Mhm.
what happens? That rain hits that bale, and just like you said, your neighbor up there, they all rot on the bottom. Well, if the bottom ain't touching the damn ground and it rains,
It's going right back in there.
there's no rain on the bottom of your bale.
Because that
It'll
netting,
rot.
gives it that little bit of,
Yep.
Yeah.
Umbrella.
Damn
Umbrella.
near as good as storing them in your neighbor's barn up there.
yeah.
I mean, it's
And
all,
the other thing is spray them.
Yep.
So the water's not running off one bale onto the other.
Exactly.
We never had them
Exactly.
touching.
If you touch a bale, that damn thing will rot.
Yeah.
Right where they touch each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you got a lot of scrap wood around here.
There's no shortage.
No
There's no
Shit,
shortage.
I'd go get some of them good logs off what you're using for your corral.
Yeah.
Cut you some of them, and you want to put them 24 inches apart.
Mm-hmm.
You put them 24 inches and set that bale up on there.
Yeah. Well, I remember you showed me on your farm when I went down to yours.
It ain't touching the ground.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We've already got them all placed for winter right now.
There we go.
So you wouldn't have to start up a tractor.
Yeah.
You can bring a four-wheeler out here or a side-by-side or whatever and feed.
There we go. All right, guys. So that's what I'm going to do. Look at that. What a great way to end the video.
You know what that is?
Clover.
You know what breed that is?
No.
That's Alsite.
Outside.
Alsite clover.
That's the good stuff.
That's a good one. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to end the video. That's a perfect place to end the video. I got to thank Jan. I got to thank Greg. And I got to thank my dad. This has been an awesome, awesome trip. I'm so glad they came up and hope you guys had a good time.
Yes.
I told
Good
them.
luck to you, Jonah.
Thanks. I
Yeah,
told them
and
I'd give them lobster and I'd
your
take them
dad, Mark,
kayaking,
yeah.
so I did both.
Thank you all for sharing your time with us.
It's good.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Love it.
All
A
right.
lot of fun.
We'll see you. Catch you guys on the flip-flop. See you later.
Hit that like
And one more thing. Greg told me to always say,
Hit that subscribe button, guys, and also
I'll start saying it.
hit the like button on the way out as
Hit
well.
the like button and hit the subscribe button.
Thank you all.
Thanks, guys.